is your life, so always be strong. Keep moving on. Your dreams will always come true. You'll get there if you believe. So rise up and be strong. Hold on and take your place. So rise up and be strong. Hold on and take your place. You're listening to Pastor Lanre Ajanaku.
Today we'll be looking at the topic planning the short route to success. When we talk in terms of planning, we're going to break it down into 3 parts so that for the purpose of driving home this message. Number 1, we've got to set our career goals, career or business goals. If you're in the business world, set business goals. If you have a career, set career goals. What must I do to move my career forward? What must I do to move my business forward? Which exam must I take? What seminar, workshop must I attend? I would always advise, don't miss every first Saturday of Dominion Voice. It's going to load you with tons and tons of things that you've got to take along. Invite people, invite your friends. Set goals. We'll be talking on the power of focus. When we do all this, what does it take to be focused? What does it take to achieve all this? Set career goals. The next is set also social goals. You've got to live a balanced life. Your time out with your friends, parties and functions. He that wants to have friends must make himself friendly. Because I want to have friends, and always in the house, always. Or you say I'm a marketer and you're always at home. Marketing what? Your TV. No. You have to get out. You have to have friends. You have to set social goals. Life could be very, very boring. And when life is boring, people run into depression, especially when it's cold. I was talking to a medical doctor lately. He said during the summer period, there is an enzyme that is secreted when you're under the sun. That is exciting, makes you excited. So when it gets to winter, because the sun does not activate that enzyme to be secreted into you, you are withdrawn. And it's during the winter period, a lot of people run into depression. They run into depression. Why? Because they're not taking time to look at their social goals. On the weekend, what am I going to do? Okay, you work from Monday to Friday. Then your weekend comes. So all weekend is just to do what? It's just to lazy around. Let me just lie on the couch and just take the remote of the TV and just, No. You've got to have social goals. What can I do? Okay, I'm going to play hockey. Or I'm going to hang out with my friends. You have to have social goals. And for some people, they are hanging out, they have so much of social goals that they don't have time for themselves. So some people may be, I want to slow down on this, I have to slow down on this. So your steps and your stops, you have to check it in 2018. Fun, recreation. What are you doing to catch some fun? Are you going on vacation at all, or you're just walking around the clock? What are you doing? Do you play soccer? Do you play hockey? Are you into sport? It's important. Then the next one is financial goals. You've got to set financial goals. A lot of us are always wishing to be rich. But I've never seen anybody who wished to be rich and is ever rich. No, I've not seen one. I'm yet to see one. They always end up being average. What do I do to achieve to be financially strong? What do I need to do to buy that second house or the third house? To buy a house, what must I do? Possibly I have to increase my savings. What can I do? Talking about financial goals now. What can I do to pay off my student loan? You cannot be in debt perpetually. No. You can't be in debt perpetually. You've got to find a fast way of getting out of debt. Don't just say that you're going to extend the tenure of that loan or that facility because I have opportunity. Not that the more you extend it, the more interest you are paying. And they are laughing and making happy. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And the truth about the matter is you have to know exactly. If you set your financial goals, okay, in the year 2018, do I want to have a joint account with my wife, my spouse? I've had some people say, joint what? Joint account? No, don't just go there. I tell people, I say, look, if you don't have a joint heart, you're just wasting your time if you have a joint account. It is better for you to have a joint heart than having a joint account. When you have a joint heart, you know exactly the direction you are going as a family. You may be keeping separate accounts, but if you have a joint heart, those accounts can see into each other. They can crisscross into each other. So don't go so much of having a joint account. First of all, establish a joint heart with whoever you want to have a joint account with. Because it's when you have a joint heart that a joint account can work. Are you there? In setting financial goals, what are you doing about multiple streams of income? Now listen to me carefully. There are 3 types of flows of income. There is the one-time flow, which is the worst of them. The one-time flow, which is from your labor, from your paid employment, what you earn. I work and I earn. That's it. That is the first flow. Then there is a one-time investment and continue to earn. And if you I buy a property and then I put someone there who is earn rent. I invested once and I continue to earn all the while. That is the second one, which is very good. There is another third one, which is the free flow, which is when you buy into stocks. You are investing in investment vehicles, buy bonds, buy stocks. And then you don't need to be there. Those things are just working and they are just paying you back. Working. Or you write a book, you write a song. You have a copyright on it. And you continue to earn. As long as people are downloading on the internet, whatever you have done, they are downloading, they are paying up, even if it's just 5 cents, even if it's just $1. Yes. But it keeps coming in, it keeps coming in. Today, you will see somebody who's just seen it for the first time, he buys into it and drops it. And then another form of inflow is through being an entrepreneur, doing business, being an employer of labor. Wherein you work and people are working for you, and then you have multiple streams of income. Listen to me carefully and note this, please, note this very carefully. In 2018, don't ever run the risk of having one single flow of income. Do you hear what I just said? You must have at least multiple streams of income. Now, when I say having a single flow of income, I'm not talking of you having 2 jobs. Yeah, maybe we can start from that. Okay, I have this job. If that job, if any income you are making, you have to be there to earn the money. That's not what I'm calling multiple streams. No. I'm talking of you maybe have a primary job which you are earning something from, but you must have something wherein you have a passive income that is coming into you. You just must have it. In 2018, work on that. Husband and wife, for now you may be working together and you are earning. Start thinking, what can we do else additionally? I'm not here to recommend anything to you, but you have to sit down, look at your skills, look at what you are doing, look at what you can do. That you don't have a single flow of income. Because when you are staying on a single flow of income, possibly from your salary, what if you lose that job? Yeah, you drop on EI. How much is EI going to pay you? It's not going to be as much as you are earning when you were earning. So don't even think of it. EI is just to keep you floating so that you don't get thrown out. In fact, most of the time, if you have so much expenses, depending on your mortgage, EI cannot even cover your mortgage. Not to talk about other things. So you must have multiple streams of income. Look for people who can partner with. The trusted people that you can partner with. Think multiple streams in 2018. You know, there is a difference between, for example, someone tells me, say, wow, I'm a lawyer. Okay, you're a lawyer. But I go to court. Yes. There is a practice aspect of law and there is a business aspect of law. You must learn that business aspect. You can be in that same field and yet still organize the business aspect of it. You can be a medical doctor and still be practicing, and don't only stay with practicing alone and looking at the business aspect of it. Some of you, for example, you're a medical doctor. Yes, you want to get employment. Yes, good. You're employed. You get that job. But what are you thinking about the business aspect of it? Who tells you you cannot have your practice? Hello? Who tells you cannot have your practice? As a lawyer, who tells you cannot have your chambers? No, sure you can. There is the whatever profession you are doing, there is the aspect of it which has to do with you, okay? But there is also the business aspect of it, but you have to think outside the box. You've got to think outside the box. You know, I heard of a medical doctor some time ago who possibly had a teaching like this, and he came after the teaching and said, well, I'm a medical doctor. I spend my time treating patients, and you're telling me that I have to have multiple streams of income. How do I go about it and all? And the person I was speaking with, he said, oh, now, well, not in Canada here. It's suitable in that part of the world where you live. And he said, when you're in the hospital, you realize that you have syringe. I mean, those things used for injection, gloves and all. He said, yes. He said, how do you get them? He said, we buy it from somewhere. He said, when you buy it from someone? He said, yes. He said, do you know that we can actually save towards this? And where they are buying it from, you can go and buy it en bulk, and you also get somebody and you're selling it to other hospitals. And he said, oh, really? I never thought of it that way. That is the business aspect of it. And he went, because he has always been saving, and he went, and he bought just the little things that can easily go, very, very simple, very cheap, and he brought it in and started selling to the hospitals. Within a short time, he realized that the money he was making in his business aspect of his profession was now much more than what he does even for a living. But you need to think outside the box. There are so many things that you can do. Think multiple streams in 2018. Think what? Come on, say it to me again. Come on, say it one more time. Think multiple streams. Multiple streams of income. Yes, I'm working. I can actually save. I can actually save in stocks. I can actually save in investment vehicles. Why? I can't imagine somebody saving money and putting your money in savings account and it's just there, and there are other vehicles of investment that you can walk up and ask and put your money in, and it will give you more streams. You can actually do a lot of those things. The starting point is get a seed money. Get a seed money. What is your seed money? Your savings. And I cannot overemphasize savings. I cannot overemphasize savings. People can get seed money through two ways. One, you can get it from inheritance. If possibly you have a parent that passes on and then they give you inheritance, you are giving inheritance, or you earn so much, you inherited so much money. It can come as a seed money. Or it can be given to you as a gift. You have an uncle or you have somebody who just loves your face, and oh, I'm going to give you as a gift, I'm going to give you $50,000. Woo! So have this $50,000, go do what you want to do with it. That's seed money. But the easiest way, because not everybody could be fortunate to fall into these two categories, but the easiest way is when you save. Saving is within your control. Those ones are not within your control. Your parents, if they did not leave anything for you, it's not within your control. You can't abuse them. How do you live their life? So savings is the very, very most important one. And when you save, you have to save with a purpose. A lot of people save without purpose. You have to save with a purpose. Make up your mind to save. And when you are saving, make up your mind in 2018 to save with a purpose. At least 20 or 10% of your income on a monthly basis must be saved. Hello? Did I hear you say, oh, the money is not even enough? What if you are earning less? Wouldn't you have stayed? You must save. Have a saving culture. When your income comes in, either bi-weekly or monthly, give your bankers a standing instruction to first of all debit. Do a direct debit straight into a savings account and stay within your limit. You won't die. You may just need to give up some frivolities. Make up your mind to save at least 10% of your income. If you cannot save 20%. At least 10% of your income you can save. You earn $1,000, save $100. Save at least 10% of your income on monthly basis. Where do you save? TFSA, stocks. You can save in different things. Save with a purpose. Don't save in such a place that you can always access it so quickly. No, that's not saving. Or you save from January and then December comes, you take everything and just blow it up. You did not save. All you did was you deferred your spending. And that's what people do. Discipline yourself to save. Do direct debits. When it's February, March, there's what we call tax refund. Boom! When the tax refund comes, what happens to your tax refund? Oh la la! What do you do with your tax refund?
Shopping.
You save. Your tax refund is not a windfall. It's a refund to you. You save out of it. Yeah, you overpay tax. And government is so nice to you. Say, oh, you've paid so much of tax. We want to give you back for your life. Let's give you something back. What do you do with tax refund? A lot of people are already planning for the tax refund. When it is March, the tax refund comes, I'm going to change my car.
All right.
So people can know that, yeah, I've arrived. You know, you're just trying to impress people who don't know you were there. You're just trying to impress somebody who, oh, jump in the car, oh, you change your car, good. That's my business if you change your car. Oh, I'm not saying it is wrong to change your car, but you have to prioritize it. You have to know exactly what you intend to do. You have to discipline yourself to save. Now listen, it is very, very important. So many vehicles of wealth creation. Like I said, paid employment, business entrepreneur, real estate. You can buy land. You can buy land. If you think a land is far away, don't worry. Buy it there. The city is going to catch up with it. And it's going to increase in value. I was talking with somebody some time ago who said some guys came to him and said they wanted to sell the land, and they said they came together and they bought the land about $500,000. And after a while, what happened? They wanted to resell the land, and they said the land now has got to about $2 million. They bought it outside of Edmonton, and Edmonton has caught up with it. You can invest in intellectual property. All these are very, very important things. These are areas you can set goals. And then the last thing is that in 2018, you must set spiritual goals. You must set spiritual goals. It's important. You must read the scriptures. You must get closer to God. You must meditate and memorize the scriptures. You must at least make up your mind to pray with your spouse. Now, if you have not tried God before, you've not known God, make up your mind in 2018. I just want to get closer to God. He's my manufacturer. He has the blueprints of my life. I need to ask him questions. You've got to work with your connection. Your connection with God must be intimate. Make up your mind in 2018 that I'm going to set goals for my spiritual life. I'm not going to just live aimlessly. I want to pray. I want to even know exactly. I want to have an experience of God. I want to know exactly what it means to have an experiential knowledge of God. Not because people have told me about God, or possibly because I go to church. No, I want to know God personally. And that is where I'm going to round off today. Listen to me carefully, beloved. And that is to every one of us. What I want us to take away from here today are those things that we have said. Tons and tons of information and knowledge has been passed across. And you know what? You are strong as the knowledge that you are applying. You are not as strong as the knowledge you know. No. You are as strong as the knowledge that you apply in your life. You cannot afford to live aimlessly. You've got to live with purpose. And in 2018, the work for us, every one of us here today, is between now and the end of the year, go and set out what you want to do. Those things we've discussed. Set these goals. Your vision, your mission. What do I do to achieve it? And then after you have set this, begin to review them and know. You cannot think that you can live aimlessly and get to a destination setting. Note one thing. If you don't know where you are going to, anywhere you get to will look like the place. I say again, if you don't know where you are going to, anywhere you get to will look like it. In 2018, you've got to know where you're going to. I want to marry, I want to do this, I want to do that. Then what do I do? Right then now, what do I do to achieve them before you start praying? Shall we pray?
Take dominion on all God's creations. Never give up. Your destiny's your life. So always be strong. Keep moving on. Your dreams will always come true. You'll get there if you believe. So rise up and be strong. Hold on and take your place. So rise up and be strong. Hold on and take your place. You're listening to Pastor Lanre Ajanaku